So the other day, I was flying my drone, just getting some good video of my car, thought I was above the tree level, and then all of a sudden, boom, it hits the top of a tree and comes tumbling 70 feet to the ground. My first thought was, sweet, it came to the ground, I'll be able to recover it. My second thought was, shoot, I hope it's okay. I picked it up, sure enough, the front left arm was dangling. It turned out to be a clear break in the plastic. So I thought to myself, I wonder if I could just glue this back together. I looked into a replacement arm, and that's honestly what I thought I was going to be doing after I tried gluing it and it didn't work. But I'm making this video afterwards because it turns out I glued it and it worked. So I'm going to talk about the process of what I did and walk you through how exactly I glued it back together and show you some video of it actually flying. What I did was I Googled the best super glues for plastic, and after looking through a couple different websites, I found one that was really detailed and it had a ranking system. And number one they had was JB Weld, and this stuff, JB Clear Weld, world's strongest bond. This stuff was rated 9.9 out of 10 in holding strength on that website. Now, it was either between this and Gorilla Glue of the same type. What it is it's two epoxies that when you squeeze this tube, they shoot out together and you mix them up. And then mixing those two creates a reaction between them, which essentially becomes this welded plastic. So the very first thing I did was I set up the piece of paper, I got all my things together, I got the drone, I got my weld, I got some Q-tips that I cut off the ends to use as a little stick to put the glue on the area, and I cleaned the drone where I was going to be sticking that stuff really well. I also took the propellers off the drone and I had it in the standing position because I figured if I put it in the standing position it kind of keeps it level, so I know where it needs to be when I stick it together. So I squeezed the epoxy into the mixing tray, and I mix it up real good with this little stick that they give you. Mixed it for about a minute or two, make sure it was mixed real well, and then I used the end of a Q-tip, grabbed some of the mix, and I put it inside the area that I was going to be sticking the drone back together. So I did that for all the areas on both sides, on the arm and the drone area. Now, I didn't put it on the outside so much just yet. So what I did was I put it together and I held the drone like this, I don't know, about a minute or two, and then while trying to hold it, I grabbed more and I applied it to the outside of the arm to try to create another secure bond. And then I listened to music during this part, and I literally held this for 30 minutes. I just held it in place. I made sure that this was flat on the ground. I made sure to keep watching to see if it moved. The first minute or two it did move a little bit, so I wasn't too optimistic, but after I'd say about 10 minutes of actually holding it there, I did a test. I let go and it stayed, but then I immediately just kept holding it, and I held it there for 30 minutes, and then after that I let it sit. I let it sit right in this position for 24 hours exactly. And after 24 hours, I took it outside and I tried it. Check out the results. So after 24 hours, it was time to test it. I actually put on brand new blades just to make sure everything would be as good as it can be. I was quite surprised when I picked it up and I tried bending the arm. It seems like there's no play. I could grab it out here and move it. There's no play at the broken section. So it's actually holding really nicely. The only problem is I tried closing the wing and it's not closing all the way. So I think what I got to do is file down a little bit of this weld that's on the top and bottom so that it can shut properly. But otherwise, it flies great. I put it in sport mode. It flew awesome like that. It hovered quite well. It was a little windy and it was swaying. It seemed like maybe a bit more than it should, but it didn't give me any errors on the screen showing anything abnormal. So that was awesome. I think I fixed it. So that's super exciting. So yeah, once again, clear weld, JB Weld.